Hello everyone, my name is Natalia Batres and today I will be presenting my case study on ESPN and how the company operates within the global business environment. This project is part of the course Doing Business in America, and through this presentation I will analyze how ESPN adapts to international markets, technological changes, economical pressures, and political regulations. My goal is to show how each of these factors interacts with the company's strategies and how ESPNs have been able to stay competitive in an industry that is constantly changing. So this is the table of contents. ESPN began in 1978 in Bristol, Connecticut as a small cable channel focused on sport. Over time, it developed into one of the strongest and most recognized sports media companies in the world. Today, it operates under the Walt Disney Company and reaches audiences in the United States, Latin America, Europe, and many other regions. In this presentation, I will examine how ESPN responds to globalization, new technologies, cultural diversity, and economic and political factors. I will connect these ideas to the main themes from our course, such as business environment, economic sectors, free trade agreements, and the role of political frameworks. Understanding how a company like ESPN functions globally gives us insight into how modern business adapts to rapid change and global competition. Let's talk about the shift in business model. One of the biggest transformations in ESPN history is its shift from a traditional cable television model to a direct-to-consumer streaming model. Originally, ESPN followed a B2B strategy where cable companies paid to distribute the ESPN channel. However, new competitors like Amazon, Apple, and Netflix changed how audiences consume entertainment. People wanted more flexibility, more platforms, and more control. Because of this, ESPN had to evolve. Today, ESPN Plus is an essential part of Disney's streaming bundle. Along with Disney Plus and Hulu, this combination helps keep subscribers inside Disney ecosystem. It also allows ESPN to reach international audiences directly without depending on cable companies. This shift shows how technology and consumer behavior changes force companies to rethink their business models and innovate quickly. Let's talk about global business environment factors. ESPN operates in many international markets, which means it's affected by global economic factors. Inflation can increase the cost of producing live sports events, and exchange rate fluctuations can impact subscription prices in countries like Mexico, Brazil, or Argentina. Consumer purchasing power also varies from region to region. ESPN must set prices that match local economies while still maintaining profitability. Another factor is supply chains. For example, delays in importing broadcasting equipment or increases in the price of technology can affect ESPN's operation. These conditions require constant monitoring and flexible financial planning. Let's talk about free trade agreements. Free trade agreements such as the UMSCA or TEMEC have a strong influence on ESPN's ability to operate in North America. One of the main benefits is intellectual property protection. For a media company, protecting broadcasting rights is essential because sports content is extremely valuable. The UMSCA also reduces tariffs and helps ESPN move equipment and digital services across borders more exactly. For example, cloud computing systems, satellite equipment, and production materials can be transferred with fewer costs and delays. Another advantage is the ability to manage financial flows. Advertising revenue or affiliate fees from Mexico or Canada can be transferred back to the United States with fewer administrative barriers. Overall, this agreement creates more predictable and efficient environments for ESPN operations in the region. Now we have cluster and local economies. ESPN growth is closely connected to media clusters. The company started in Bristol, Connecticut, which eventually became a major center for sports media production. These clusters included skilled workers, technical resources, and specialized infrastructure. Internationally, ESPN creates microclusters in different regions. For example, in Mexico, ESPN collaborates with Liga MX, Mexican journalists, and local production companies. This partnership helps generate content that feels culturally relevant and supports employment in local media industries. This approach strengthens ESPN presence in foreign markets and allows the company to adapt content to regional cultures and interests. Now, for the part of economic sectors, even though SPM is part of the tertiary sector, the company depends on the primary and secondary sectors to operate. The primary sector provides the energy necessary for broadcasting and for operating data centers. The secondary sector produces the equipment needed for filming and transmitting content such as cameras, servers, microphones, and production trucks. Finally, the tertiary sector includes ESPN digital platforms, journalism, commentary, and user experience. This shows how interconnected the global economy is and how even service-based companies rely on multiple sectors. Now, an important part, cultural diversity and demographics. Cultural and demographic factors influence ESPN's strategy around the world. The company has made a conscious effort to include women's sports, highlight diverse athletes, and represent different fan communities. For example, ESPN has increased coverage of the WNBA and women's soccer, and it broadcasts events for various countries to reflect global sports culture. Understanding local preferences is also essential. The sports that audience follow in Mexico or Brazil are different from those in the United States. ESPN adjusts its programming, marketing, and even social media content to stay relevant in each region. These efforts help ESPN build stronger relationships with global viewers and maintain its reputation as an inclusive and culturally aware brand. Let's continue with financial frameworks. Financial frameworks play a central role in ESPN strategy. Transitioning to a streaming model requires major investments in technology, app development, and exclusive content licensing. These costs fall under capex and they must be planned carefully. Additionally, ESPN has to balance different sources of revenue, including advertising, subscription fees, sponsorship, and partnerships. One interesting fact is that a single broadcasting contract, for example for the NFL or international soccer tournaments, can be worth hundreds of millions. Losing one of these contracts can significantly affect ESPN's financial stability. Stock drops also have an impact. When negative controversy occurs, the stock values can fall and affect investor confidence. Because of this, ESPN needs strong long-term financial planning to remain competitive in a streaming industry. Finally, we have political factors. Political environments strongly influences ESPN operations. Governments create broadcasting regulations, censorship rules, and data protection laws that the company must follow in every country. In the United States, the proposed Venue Sports joint venture faced political pressure under the Sherman Antitrust Act, which led to the cancellation of the project. This shows how competition laws can directly affect business decisions. Internationally, ESPN must navigate different legal systems. Some countries have strict rules about what content can be broadcast, while others regulate digital distributions and user data. Even small changes in government policies can create operational changes. To conclude, ESPN continues to evolve through digital innovation, cultural awareness, and strategic global operation. By understanding political and economic factors, the company strengthens its ability to make informed decisions and stay aligned with global trends. ESPN's focus on improving its streaming platforms, adapting to diverse audiences, and expanding internationally helps the company remain competitive and resilient. In today's global market, the ability to adapt quickly is not just an advantage, it is essential for long-term success and sustainability. Thank you for your time and attention.